Theo from the Crow Hill Company, and today we've got an iconic new addition to the Vaults collection, Acid Synth. Acid Synth is our homage to the celebrated Roland TB303 synthesizer and the acid house genre. Upon the synth's release in 1981, there were far fewer resources to make electronic music than there are today, and the intention behind the TB303 was to mimic the characteristics of the electric bass. The synth could be time-synced with the existing TR-606 drum machine, creating a rhythm section that could fit in a small briefcase. The engineers tried their utmost to imitate the sound of the electric bass, however, fell short in capturing the subtleties of the instrument. So the TB303 was discontinued a mere 2 years later, with only 10,000 of them being made in total. Now this would usually be the end of the story, but then something really incredible happened. DJ Pierre and his band Future found a used TB303 in a music shop in Chicago for a bargain price. They started experimenting with the bass sequencer and a drum machine while playing about with the resonance and filter knobs. The sound they produced was so unique and frankly weird that they decided to commit the jam session to tape. With the release of this experiment on Trax Records in 1987, they unwittingly birthed a whole new genre, acid house. This slimy, hypnotic, subversive sound subsequently built a cultural movement and was the soundtrack to many illegal warehouse parties in the late 80s. All of this innovation from a tiny little synth that was used incorrectly. Now let's dive into what this GUI and the library has to offer. As ever, it's our intuitive Vaults GUI. The first large dial, Cutoff, is a 24 decibel low-pass filter which controls what high frequencies you cut out of the sound. It is automatically assigned to MIDI CC1. Resonance determines the peak of the filter as it opens and closes, which creates that characteristic squelchy sound that the synth is known for. Now what I like to do to really simulate some kind of acid house vibes is to assign both of these large dials to a MIDI CC, and I like doing it to actual knobs that I can twiddle. So the Lugin is great for that. It has 3 here that I can assign to different MIDI CCs. Of course, standard faders will work as well. And I like to enable the arpeggiator on the MIDI effects drop-down menu on Logic, which allows me to sequence the synth. I then let the arpeggio roll using the sustain pedal, and then I have both hands free to twiddle with the cutoff and the resonance as I please. The small dials are more concentrated effects. Mod controls how much voltage is being sent to the filter, so it can create some really interesting sounds when you adjust the mod and the filter simultaneously. And decay controls the decay length for all the envelopes, which I'll demonstrate here. Another thing to mention is that you can obviously play staccato. However, if you play legato, so with the MIDI notes overlapping with one another, you get a really characteristic glide, which the TB303 is renowned for. And of course, our standard echo and splosh. Although splosh is a little different this time, it's an algorithmic imitation of a cave, which suits this synth really, really beautifully. One library this synth pairs with particularly well is our very own circuit drums, so I'd really encourage you to experiment with coupling those two together. So there's our tribute to the Roland TB303. The story arc of this synth is so amazing and inspiring. From its unpromising beginning to completely defining a genre and an era, it's so exciting to have this celebrated synth right at my fingertips for free. As always, please subscribe and ding that notification bell. Your support on this platform really helps us out a lot, and you can look forward to some really exciting new releases like this one from Crowhill in the near future.